So it's Monday, it's fish moving day. The tank took a little bit more balancing out to get the siphon and the pump to equalise. It's working now. It's been running fine, and it's been able to be run overnight several times. So I've got the fishes in the bucket and I'm going to let them into here. They all seem very excited to be in the bucket because they obviously know something is going to happen when bucket time happens. So let's put the fishes in. I've already added some of the tank water that they had in the storage box into both the tank and the sump. One, to bring my levels up, and also just so that there's water that they're acclimatised to in there. Temperature wise, pH wise, all of that shit, it's the same. I run everything the same. So it's all okay. I'm not going to acclimatise them to it, I'm just going to dump them in. Once I put them in, I'm going to go and disassemble their filter and take the filter they have has bioactive orbs in it. I'm going to take that out and put it into my bioactive drawer, and I'm also going to take the sponge filter media out of their filter and put it in, just because it has the good bacteria in it from them and it has their bacteria, so I want to make everything run as smoothly as possible, and for me that just seems like a good idea. Let's put them in. Okay, so we're 24 hours on, over 24 hours on from the fish moving in. Everything seems to be going okay. They have eaten a lot of the duckweed, so it's just as well I put in quite a lot. And the only really damage that's happened is this hornwort that I had here. They've knocked the body of it out, so it's free floating, so I need to pop that back in. But otherwise, they're all doing fine. They're not really having a go at the plants. They've been having a really good explore. The water is still a little bit cloudy, but I'm not too bothered about it. They're okay with it. I'm going to leave it a few days before I do any water changing on it. They're all coming forward because they see me here and they're like, oh, food, 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 food. They're so greedy. That's how they're doing so far. They're really enjoying it, not really any massive teething issues. They get fed in the morning and the evening. This is also, they get this anyway, but it's also to make sure that they're not going to eat my plants. I'm fairly sure also our shrimpy buddy was eaten in the very early stages of them going in this tank, I'm fairly sure. I haven't seen him since. I'm going to prepare their dinner for today in a minute. So I alternate their evening food between being frozen, raw. So generally it's like bloodworms, daphnia, brine shrimp. I don't have bloodworms or brine shrimp currently. I have daphnia and two other things that I can't remember the names of. So I'll alternate that along with cooked shelled peas or cooked courgette. It's not like a meal, it's more just supplementary. Make sure that everyone gets their fair share of food, especially as I have two that necessarily get beaten to the post a little bit on feeding. Tonight they're having courgette. I'm going to chop their courgette and cook it, and then I think it's probably the end of the saga on the fish tank. I might film the process of me having to change some water because I'm a little bit nervous about that, because that's going to involve me messing with the sump, which has been a little bit of a terror for me and I don't really want to have to turn off, but that's the next step of it. But for now, everyone's settling in, the plants are doing fine, there hasn't really been any damage done to them. I mean, the only damage I can see, apart from this hornwort being ripped up, is like one of the Java ferns at the back has a little bit of like fading on some of the leaves, but that can also just be from the trauma of moving into here. But everything seems fine, and the flow is nice and low, so it means that my less able-bodied fish, which is Mark Anthony, who's at the back, who you might have noticed sits on the bottom. There's nothing wrong, well, there is something wrong with him, but I don't know what it is, and there's nothing that I can fix in it. It doesn't matter if I treat him or anything like that. He hasn't got, like, he's always been a little bit funny. The thing is that all the golden ones are chain pet shop stock, which isn't good, I know, and I shouldn't have bought them from it. But then also I go into these chain pet shops and I see these fish and I feel bad for them and I want to give them a better life, and I shouldn't do that because I should want to give them a better life, but by buying you propagate the sale of them. I mean, these two are pet shop bought as well, but they're from an independent owned pet shop. So the two that have issues is Jet. He doesn't look like he has issues, but he very, very nearly had to be put down because in the first week we got him, he was just lying on the bottom of the quarantine tank, gasping and like banging into the tank sides, and he was really unwell. And he is so much better now, but he has moments where he just doesn't swim quite right. There's something neurological going on with him, but he's perfectly fine, and you can see he's absolutely huge. He's grown so much and he's gorgeous. He's got a really ugly carp face in my opinion, but I really like that. And then the other one that has issues is Mark Anthony, who's the little all gold one. You can actually see him, he's like here. Chungus, our really big one, has gone to the back with him. So the big one, Chungus, and Cleopatra, who's the black, the gold and white one there, she and Chungus both look after Mark Anthony quite a lot. So they'll always go and check on how he's doing. But he has especially declined in the past 6 months. It's the thing with pet shop stock of any animal, whether it's mammals or fish or reptiles, the genetics and the breeding of them is done in mass and it's poor. You never are going to know the longevity of the animal. So with Mark Anthony, something has been wrong with him in the past, and I think also his genetics aren't great because he's never thrived as well. Like Chungus is the youngest of the 3 gold ones, and he was smaller than Mark Anthony when we upgraded to this tank, and he grew past him in the matter of days. But Mark Anthony has never really grown very much, and he was very small when I got him. I don't believe it was stunting because I upgraded their tanks regularly as needed, and there's only about 3 months in between me getting Mark Anthony and me getting Chungus. There's something up with him, he just hasn't grown, and now I do believe that he has an abdominal tumour or an abdominal growth, because one side of him is like rounded as you would expect a Oranda's side to be, and then the other side has a weird flat edge on it. So I believe he does have an abdominal tumour, and it must be affecting his swim bladder in some way because he's very much struggling to swim. But currently, he's perfectly happy, he's eating, he's not in distress, he's not like gasping or anything like that. He just has a swim about, gets some food, and then he plonks down onto the gravel and he just sits there and eats his food and has a look about, and then Chungus and Cleopatra come and check on him, and then he'll have a bit more of a swim and move position to a different location in the tank. If he seemed in distress, I would be doing something about it, but he, I think, has just aged more rapidly than the others I got around the time of him have. So you can see there Cleopatra is like hovering around him. He's just sitting back there. He's okay. It looks bad, but he really is okay. And I know people are going to be like, oh, you're just saying that. But I've had him for 3 years, and I know what he's like, and I know what he's like in a panic, and I know what he's like when he's just fine, and he's just normal, and this is his day-to-day, and this is really his day-to-day, that he isn't distressed. I've had him when he's distressed. I had one black moor I had who had white spot or ick and brought it into the tank, and he was very distressed when he had ick. So I know what he's like when he's unwell, and he is obviously unwell, but he's not distressed, if that makes any sense. I don't think he has a lot longer in him, and I just, rather than stressing him out by separating him from the rest, because he's definitely not contagious, this isn't an issue anyone else is having, I would prefer just to leave him to live out the last bit of his life with his shoal and where he's comfortable, and being in such a low flow tank, because it was one of the issues also with having a internal filter in the tank, is the flow was too high and I couldn't bring it down low enough for him, and that was distressing him because he couldn't keep himself steady when he was on the bottom, so he was having to like sit in corners or sit underneath the filter or like behind the filter and stuff like that. But he's a lot happier in this tank, and he's chilling out. But when I put food in, it might take him a couple of minutes because he's definitely slower than the rest. But when I put food in, he'll come and check it out. He 100% won't eat what I'm going to put in tonight because he doesn't like courgette. Everyone else likes courgette except Cleopatra and Mark Anthony. They don't like it. It's going to be really interesting to see how this tank evolves in the next month, and I will definitely do like a month update on it. I think we're kind of here on it now, and I'm really pleased with it. And the filter does appear to be working. It's just currently cloudy because obviously I've got new bioactive that needs to like run and sort itself out. But the cloudiness isn't dangerous, it's just aesthetically unpleasing. But for me, I'm not bothered about it. It's just the thing of having fish, and especially I had fish when I was younger, but once again, it's kind of a thing, your parents control it, and I wasn't very knowledgeable on it, and to be honest, wasn't very knowledgeable when I started this 3 years ago. But I really do try, and it is a little bit of a learning error. Like, there is a learning curve on it, but I feel I'm doing well. I feel this is a good, in 3 years, this is a good level to have got to. They're all coming to the top because they're like, dude, you've been here for 15 minutes, where's the food? I'll go get their dinner sorted.